What are you working on now?
I am working on long term. I have a nonfiction book. It is about the beach in front of the house where I grew up in San Diego, framed around some crimes. And particularly, there's two girls got murdered. And then this seems to be making its way into the book more than I thought it would. It would be a cop rapist who committed a bunch of crimes, sexual assaults, attacks on the beach, and specifically that beach in front of my parents' house. And so I'm just kind of letting it take me where it wants to go.
Did they caught the guy?
Mm-mm. They caught the cop, but they did not catch the murderer of the two girls.
Wow.
And it might have been two different people.
Wow.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like one of those stories where it's just like any of the possible solutions don't make any sense.
What about it captured you? I mean, well, it's happened. That's stupid. I mean, when something
It
happens in front of your
it
home.
felt like I needed to. I was listening to this podcast that was the boyfriend of one of the girls. And I was like, I need to write this. Like this, like it's always been well, I didn't even know about it until somewhat recently. I didn't, this beach I would go on as a teenager and throughout my life at night, and I would feel really scared of the beach. And I just thought I was being ridiculous because it's dark. And then I found out that there were all these horrible things that happened there that I didn't know about. And then hearing him talking about he was sleeping on the beach with her and she got murdered and he was severely beaten. And hearing him talk about it was just like, this is just like so. I mean, it feels fucked up to call it compelling when it's somebody else's like horrible things, but it just felt really compelling. Like I want to write this story. Like I feel like I'm supposed to.
At what point will you call yourself a West Virginian?
I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe it's like a New Yorker where you don't really get to call yourself a New Yorker ever, maybe. Um, but I certainly don't. Still feel like a Californian.
I'm born, bred, and buttered New Yorker, Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
actually, and but over half my life California. But the New Yorker is just so there. I mean, that's just doesn't.
I think I have a malleable accent, perhaps more than some people.
Well,
But
I think as writers, you have to have a good ear to absorb. Is there West Virginian language that you've noticed you have taken up that surprised you?
well, West Virginians, it's not like a Southern accent. It's like you throw extra vowels and things. And I've noticed that sometimes I'll hear something that I said and I'll be like, wow, there was like 3 more vowels in there that needed to be. I think that might be about it, though. I'm sure I've picked up something, but mostly I feel like the accent has invaded my Valley Girl California talk.
Yeah, I noticed there was something you said that I was like, wow, that catches my ear. Yeah, there were things when I first moved from New York that I would start saying being sarcastic, and it was totally sarcastic, and then it became part of my language, like saying rad. Like I would always say rad, like, wow, yeah, that's rad. And now I say, well, wow, that's rad, and I'm totally sincere.
Yeah,
So
I did that with hella.
hello,
And
yeah, hello.
and I still will want to say hella, but I don't, but I want to because I started saying hella ironically and now I just like can't get it out of my head. Usually it doesn't come out of my mouth anymore, but
Yeah, Hella, I had a similar romance with Hella, which was just like, no, it was like, it was supposed to be a joke. You can't
yeah,
do
I've learned don't say things as a joke because they will stick.
it. It's like that thing of don't do that with your eyes because it's going to stick. With language, it totally does. And yeah. How did your parents feel about you writing this book and being a writer?
They're pretty great about it. If they have any sort of like negative feelings, they haven't expressed it to me. Like they just seem proud of me. My dad, when he was reading it, he wouldn't stop calling me and like asking me, did this really happen? And some of the things that I told him like, no, they didn't. And that wasn't true. Um, and I could tell that that was painful for him. But they both have been great about it. So no complaints.
Thank you for.
Yeah, this was very enjoyable. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you taking time. Fine. I'm glad we finally made this happen.
Yes, me too. It is hard to tease out the beginning. When I was living it, my disintegration seemed sudden, like I had once been whole, but that my reality swiftly slipped apart into sand. Not even sand, but slime, something desperate and oozing and sick. But looking back, I was a slow burn that eventually imploded. My school was at the top of a hill, at the end of its street in a quiet neighborhood full of $1 million homes. The playground overlooked the ocean. I was in sixth grade, and it was early spring, an El Nino winter, unusually cold and rainy. The first clear day in weeks, the sunlight and odd metallic citrine from the moisture, shifting in strange shadows. We just had PE capture the flag, and we were young enough that I was still the fastest in the class, faster than the boys, and I managed to slip out of Matt Irwin's fingers to victory. I couldn't catch my breath. I turned away from my classmates to look out at the ocean, shimmering in the yellow light, and it was so beautiful I couldn't stand it. I felt a shift in my tectonics, a sensation like I might burst out of myself, a rupture in my chest leaking something hot and dirty like lava. My first awareness of the foreign thing. It felt electric and thrilling, but I also knew it was something to hide.